Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the MicroProse podcast. We are Dan Tozer and Nancy Knott, and today we are discussing all things Neyyah.
If you don't already know, Neyyah is a point-and-click adventure game created by Gwynaire, who we will be chatting with shortly.
Neyyah is supported by Screen Australia, published by MicroProse, and will be available to purchase in the very near future.
September 2nd, to be exact.
We'll also be chatting with Nigel Goodwin, who plays Vermeer,
You might recognize him from the game trailer if you've seen it.
and Paul Hayward, who plays Smolax.
Without further ado, let's introduce the man of the moment, Gwynaire from Defy Reality Entertainment, whose game Neyyah will be launching on September 2nd, 2025.
Hello, Aaron, and welcome to the MicroProse podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Have you had moments where you've thought, I can't believe I'm actually making a game?
There's so many comments that I get, particularly at this point where like, when's the game coming out? When's the game coming out? The patience
Mm.
is starting to wane. Funny, my response to that as well, when you get into Neyyah, you're gonna have to have a lot of patience to be able to complete the game. So this is your first test. This is your
I
first test, right? So that's the
love
kind of
that.
way I've kind of responded to some of those messages. But but now it's like a point where I'm like, finally, the game has, has an announcement and has a release date, and I feel at the moment I'm excited for everyone else. I'm excited for everyone who's been following the game.
You must find the secret portal.
Neyyah contains FMV cutscenes, and you actually make an appearance in one of these. Can you tell us a bit about that, or is this classified information?
I don't know. I wouldn't say. I mean, it was exposed in the demo. It's up on
Wow.
YouTube already, I suppose. But yeah, that was a cool moment because I actually wanted to have, like an actor play that particular role. But well, it was yourself. You said you should be in the game. You should be in the game. So yeah, I took that moment, and it's very much in line with how Knut Muller of developer of the REM games and you know Rand Miller playing Atris and Mist and Riven and everything. It's following suit in a lot of ways, which is quite nice. I don't have any acting abilities or any acting background, so it's been something I've kind of been interested in. But it was a cool moment just to be able to kind of jump in and do that. So um, yeah,
It was a fun
forgot what
day
the
filming
question
all
was
the
now.
it was a fun day filming all those scenes. And it's
It was really fun.
after the
It was
stress
really
of
fun.
getting all the planning and scripts done, because you wrote all the scripts.
Scripts that was a learning curve for me. I think I would, and Nancy would know about this. I had a lot of, I wrote it to a point where it would sound so realistic. You'd have those huge gaps and, you know, um, stops within sentences but it had to be shaped, it had to be shaped. And, Nancy did a wonderful job with that. So that was really cool. It taught me a lot. Yeah, I think the story isn't that interesting though, because I've been looking at other games and other narrative games and how they kind of tell a story maybe in a linear form. You get the story from beginning to end. Neo is kind of a bit more like how like Riven did things, I suppose, and similar games. It's told in a different way and depending on where you are within the game. And what's cool about that though is that I kind of pulled from that more linear experience of beginning to end a little bit more towards the end of development. And I managed to add some things into the Near world that enabled you to kind of have a bit more of a sort of staged story. So that was good. I'm glad I did that.
I think you did great because it's really difficult to come up with a story that's told in a non-linear way that could be encountered in any order, really, depending on how players progress. That on one hand stays true to the genre and encapsulates that kind of retro gaming vibe, and leans into the right elements and tropes and on all of that stuff to activate that nostalgia, but is at the same time its own unique thing. And that is a huge accomplishment.
Definitely. And I think with the development of the game too, it's so nostalgic. Like how everything's pre-rendered, for example, everything renders, takes a while to render certain scenes and animations, and even the water is like overlaid over the images, it's like overlaid animations. And there have been players that have actually thought this is like made in Unreal. This is Unreal, but you're just clicking to move through the environment, which is really cool. I think to really sell a game like this, to make it, point and click first person, the graphics really have to be quite immersive. And I think Neyyah does a really good job of that. So, but that's one of my biggest strengths is the whole art world building side of things. So that is kind of where the core lies within Neyyah, right there.
Resurrect a dying past. Realize your destiny. Two cultures, one truth. And this has been Aaron Gwynaire from Defy Reality Entertainment talking about Neyyah. Aaron, thank you so much for your time today and good luck with all things launchy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys. And yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited to get the game out.
Yes, Neyyah and its
Yeah.
soundtrack will be available to purchase on Steam from September 2nd. So get it.
Buy it. Buy it now.